All right, welcome back. I hope everybody can hear me. If you guys can do this, can you just maybe give me feedback to say that you can hear you, and yeah, we can kickstart this whole live stream. We're going to be starting with the news today, and of course we get to individual altcoins as we always do. After that, we're going to be looking at the Q&A that we always do as well, of course, and we're going to be looking at the altcoins that you want to be taking a look at, and we can see if there are some opportunities by them and stuff like that, all that great stuff in today's live stream. So if I can just get like any feedback to say, okay, yeah, we can actually hear you, then we can slowly but surely begin. So I think, yeah, I've gotten the feedback that I want, that everything is good, the video is good, and the audio also is good. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with the macro as we always do. When we say macro, we are looking at like the bigger market players that move markets especially. And we usually want to take a look at the Bitcoin price. We also want to look at the news surrounding the markets and what the market is actually anticipating. So of course, I think, all throughout the whole week, we have actually been talking about the Fed meeting that is going to be next Wednesday. So that's 5 days away, or maybe we can say 6 days, right? So this is the day that I think markets are waiting for. And you actually see it also as well on the charts that there is some massive indecision right there. And we've gotten to levels where everything becomes pivotal, right? Things tend to, shift drastically towards one side or the other. So what we're anticipating here, or I should say the market is anticipating, that the Fed would just actually go ahead and keep the weights at the same constant. So that's like 425 to 450 actually basis points, and there's a 94% chance that they actually just remain with the same rate, right? No change. Then of course we've got I think this is 8.5% or 6.7% actually, that they're going to be, cutting rates. Then of course a 0% chance basically that they're not going to be, hiking rates at all. So with this information, I think we also see the same things pretty much being represented here on the charts, especially if we take a look at the Bitcoin price. We also realize that, look, yes, technically speaking, we have done what we need to do. Number one, breaking the downtrend, of course. Secondly, also, you have been able to break above the horizontal line here. This is the resistance, but there is just one thing that is missing at this point, which is for the price to get into higher retracement levels. So if you take a look at the Fibonacci retracement 2 from the very top there until the bottom, you realize that we are parking at a very important Fibonacci retracement level. That's the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level. And yeah, this is exactly where experienced traders also, if you take a look at bots, they're reacting massively to this range, because this basically is a make or break moment, right? So usually if you happen to clear your 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, you move it, one notch a little bit higher to the 702 Fibonacci retracement level. But once these two levels are cleared, it's all clear skies actually. You have a very strong chance of going to set a new all-time high basically. And the next usual suspect is the golden ratio. So that will be for Bitcoin around $131,000. So I mean, for this moment, I think it pans out very well with a kind of an event that we have with the Fed, that between $96,000 and $99,000. This is also where we have an event that can change the market. So it also depends on what Jerome Powell comes and says on that day. If he comes and says things that the market doesn't like too much, of course you get a big rejection and things are not going to be looking too good for markets. So this is really a fingernail biting moment, and in most cases there is no way of preparing for this kind of a thing, but it is what it is, right? So I mean, if you also just take a look at other things in the macro that we usually consider, like the Russell 2000, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, they also indicate the same picture, that of course they have crashed very much strongly towards the downside, but they appear to be like slowly but surely they're getting ready for, you know, a pop above resistances and possibly getting into high retracement levels or even going on to set new highs. But I think you also notice the same kind of, you know, moment that the stock market is in. This was previous resistance and it's going to continue to act like resistance until and unless there is a catalyst that can actually pull this thing towards the upside. I mean, I can also say the same thing about the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This one actually, if we compare the crash that we had to the one that we had in 2020, they are very close similarities right there, right? So the way we have crashed back into the support level, there was also the same style of crash that we had both in the 2022 bear market. Of course, this was a little bit longer, but the stages are pretty much the same. Then of course, this one was very much violent back in 2020 with the COVID-19. I think you can not see it properly because I'm right there, but okay, I think now you have a clear picture of what we are doing. So right now, if you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, where it is here, that's also probably a moment like this one in here. So I think markets are basically waiting for a decision, and I think by Wednesday next week we'll be able to say finally, okay, which side are we tipping, right? So we're going to be live streaming that, and we'll witness history, make or break moment. I think it's going to be something that is exciting. Of course, we're going to be trying to take advantage of the volatility by taking trades, both sides actually. I mean, if it pumps towards the upside, we are looking for longs. If we are dipping lower and lower, we're going to be shorting the price. It is what it is. So yeah, I think this is what the macro is. We'll get into the news later on, but maybe we can just take a little bit of a breather and we'll get into our individual altcoins. But I think it's also important just to understand the kind of market that we're operating in. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it. So let's get into our individual altcoins slowly but surely. I don't know which one should we actually start with. Maybe we can start with JASMY and TELCOIN because they're the ones which are doing great, right? So we have to reward high performers. Take a look at JASMY price set. Really, there hasn't much been a development right there on JASMY. Actually, the way we left the chart yesterday, the day before, that is also pretty much what it is sitting at. But the good thing is that it's sitting on top of a support level, right? If it was below a resistance, that wasn't going to be looking too good. But for now, I think we can be hopeful and also understand that, you know, it's pretty much following what the rest of the market is doing, which is great because it means that when the market recovers, it also takes part into the market. We don't want to be in an altcoin that is doing so bad that is not even following the market. That's not going to be too good, right? Chances are that even if the market starts pumping, that's going to be a laggard, and you don't want to be in an altcoin like that. Now, of course, here with JASMY, I think one thing that we usually talk about is the 50-day moving average. I won't mention that at all, but let me just go ahead and mention EMA ribbons here, because for the first time since November 2024, we have actually been able to flip these things bullish. So that's great. As you can see, maybe if I zoom in here, you can see that, yes, this thing has actually been flipped towards the bullish side. So that's great. Then, of course, I mean, we also acknowledge the support that is there. So I think everything is looking good for now, and all eyes are on that Fed meeting, right? If everything comes out and maybe Jerome Powell comes out, he gives a positive message to markets that probably by the time we get to June, they're going to be cutting rates. Then, of course, we are looking for a moon motion here for JASMY. I think it's going to be looking good. But overall speaking, nothing has happened over the last few days. We have just been able to hold support, and I think that's also something that we have to appreciate, in my opinion. So the EMA ribbons have been flipped, as you can see here. Flip, then what do? Pump 190 something percent in a very short space of time. You also do the same thing here, and I think here you go for 100 and something percent, which is 138%. Then of course you repeat the same thing here. flip those EMA ribbons bullish once again, and then of course you're looking for a bigger pump here of about 420%. So these are the kind of things that JASMY can do if it has been able to clear these EMA ribbons. And yeah, I think this is looking good. So I mean, for now, we're looking at retracement level. So my first target here for JASMY would be right around 3.2 cents, and we'll take it from there. We have to analyze where the Bitcoin price is. If it is setting all-time highs, yeah, I think we can also be rest assured that JASMY is going to be doing just as much. I mean, when I say all-time high here for JASMY, I'm talking about a higher price than 6 cents. So that's where we are. The indicators are looking okay. And I forgot actually to mention one thing about Bitcoin, that look guys, with BTC on a daily time frame, if we observe the movement of the RSI, we realize simply that if we get into that 70 mark, that is actually momentum on the chart to say that, you know what, it's pretty much go time. So that's also one thing that we'll be trying to look at between this range of $96,000 and $99,000. If we just get into that range of the 70 mark here on the RSI, which we're very much close to actually, if you think about it, we're just a 69.15. Yeah, it's going to be looking good. It's going to be looking good. So this is something that to keep an eye on. If you doubt what I'm trying to say here, go back and try to check it back in November. You see that once you're just striding into that 70 mark, you see also the price just pushing towards the upside, and it does well. Go back as far as you know, February as well, 2024, and you see that stride into the 70 mark on the RSI gives the chart more momentum. Actually, it means the price is overbought, right? Meaning that there is interest to buy Bitcoin, so it can continue for some time. And of course, I mean, once it starts getting into like the 90s, maybe that's a danger zone or something like that. But just striding into that 70 mark is a good indication. So we want to wait and see for that, especially clearing those Fibonacci retracement levels around $99,000, and it will be a good signal for all the other altcoins that we are talking about. So yeah, next on the line, I think we want to talk about TELCOIN, because actually it's doing well. And yesterday I was announcing to Patreon members saying that, look, I'm going to be opening a long position, because I look at the chart and I see something that is bullish right there, but I'm waiting for the chart to dip a little bit lower between that 0.005 and maybe 0.0048, so that I can, you know, just buy in. So when the price hit 0.05, I think I bought some, but I only bought 30% of what I intended to buy. I woke up this morning, I'm seeing that the chart is actually started pumping, and the trade was already up 150 something percent when I was only 30% in. So that was, you know, do they call it bittersweet, a moment where you're happy but you're kind of sad at the same time, like I wish I could have entered with more money, but it is what it is here. So TELCOIN is pumping, and on bigger time frames, what I'm actually looking at here is what I would call an inverse head and shoulder space. And so let me just go ahead and, you know, we clear this one here so that you see what we're talking about. This would be a shoulder, this would also be a head, and this is a shoulder in the making. So this would be an inverse head and shoulder space, and only gets confirmed if you happen to break above 0.068 in terms of the dollar value for TELCOIN here. But I think it's something that is coming, and from there you're looking even to propel way higher, because I mean, just take a look at how you would measure this. You're looking at a 90% pump basically, that also takes you close to the previous high right around 1.3 cents. So that's good. And yeah, we don't have to forget that overly we're also looking at that Wyckoff accumulation pattern, and that also gives the chart room to even expand further. So this is looking okay. I hope it actually dips a little bit lower so that I can, you know, place those buys of mine, but I'm seeing support here until the level of 0.0046, I would say. So that's good, right? Yeah, maybe I can show you that trade here. Let's see if Discord is going to be able to open. But yeah, this is actually the trade I was sharing with my fellow Patreon members, and it was up 158%. I think there was one Patreon who took the trade. Yes, that's this one. He was up, I think, 172%. So I mean, congratulations to him. Congratulations to myself as well, although I really didn't enter with as much money as I would have intended. So that's good. So TELCOIN, that's the bullish case scenario right there. But we want to move on, and we want to talk about ZEBEC, because it's also one project that I have actually been lately bullish on, and it's also looking safe, right? So let me just share with you what my thoughts are on that one. But before we continue, let me also just give you this offer that our partners over there, Bank Exchange, have for new users. If you go ahead and sign up with the link that is in the description and the referral code, you can participate in this activity right there, which if you happen to deposit $100 in your futures trading account. By the way, let me just mention this. You have to understand how futures work, right? Because if you don't know how futures work, you just have been trading on spot, this really won't be as helpful. But for somebody who trades futures, this is just the perfect thing, right? So if you actually go ahead and deposit $100 in your futures account, you can claim up to $50 in terms of the trading bonus, which you can also trade and make more money on it. So basically it's like a free airdrop. Then of course $500 gets you to $200, and $800, $350, $1,000, that's $450 in terms of, basically $450 to trade for free. If you happen to win those trades, kudos to you, bravo. And I think it's not something that is too difficult actually, if you happen to know what you are doing. So this is a fantastic offer in my humble opinion. I would actually encourage also everyone to go through the rules, so that you don't feel like there is something unfair that happened, but they just follow the rules in there, and you can go ahead and claim yours. I've already claimed mine, and you'll be surprised that's the money that I use to enter my Telcoin trade. So let's see how that goes. So I had $450 just for free, and now I've actually managed to turn it into 154%, just like what I did right there. So yeah, that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one here. Yeah, we were taking a look at ZEBEC. Now ZEBEC is looking good because it's looking like it's work of accumulating in here. Now this is something that has been happening for over a year, so that gives you confidence, because usually you want this work of accumulation patterns to be methodical, right? You don't want to be haphazard. It has to be big money that is behind this thing. So I see a lot of potential in this one. Why? Because you're coming out of the flows. This thing has never experienced a bull market, I would say, and because of that, I think it's just expansion. Imagine you're coming from the lowest, everything is just up, right? So this is how I'm anticipating the price to keep pushing towards the upside. Of course, today I made a video earlier on, and I was saying that, look, there is a resistance here which has rejected the price multiple times already, and it's doing the same thing. However, if we look at the RSI profile, we are doing something that is a little bit different from the past, in the sense that, look, we have gotten those rejections, but when we have been in this overbought territory. However, this time around we are not yet there, and this is telling me that I think the RSI will attempt one other one into that overbought territory. Now that would also mean that the price is going to be trying to break this resistance right around, I would say 0.0015 in terms of like the dollar value, and from there you're going to be looking at the next big resistance, which is like 0.002. From there, yeah, we'll see how the rest of the market is, but what I'll be anticipating from that point is just price discovery, and the price keeping to push towards the upside. This guy is basically the limit with this one. So if you want to hear more about that, there is already a video. The last video that I made is about ZEBEC, and you'll be able to see what we are talking about right there. Alright, next on the line, I think we want to be talking about ICP, Internet Computer Protocol. It really has been long, and yeah, the committee was fighting the last few days. I think it was yesterday or the day before, for some guys getting the water neuron token and this and that. They are disingenuous, they are this, they are number that. So I was just like, okay, these are characteristics of a bottom, and I'm behaving just as much here with ICP, Internet Computer Protocol. I think that this is a bottoming structure that we are seeing here, and this is the same message that I've been talking about for quite some time here, that this is what you see with bottoms. examples include SUI back in 2024 August, and also things like Solana back in 2022. So they all had this same structure, and they managed just to slowly but surely reclaim, you know, the lower lows, the lower highs, I'm supposed to say, and eventually just pushing. So for me right now, I think that it's not, you know, too difficult for ICP to get back to $7, which is right around the 49% that I'm anticipating here. So I'm even thinking of deploying a little bit much more into ICP Internet Computer, so that I can actually back my words and put my money, you know, exactly where my mouth is. So this is what I'm anticipating here for ICP Internet Computer Protocol to do in terms of like the analysis of its own chart. There isn't much to talk about actually, but I think it's moving just along with the rest of the market. It's not usually a leader, but its moment always comes and just, you know, catches on to what the rest of the market is doing at that point. So yeah, that's what I can say here with ICP Internet Computer. I think that it's just the formation of a bottom. Now, one thing that I have to mention about this is that I think we are almost done with the sales and unlocks. The vesting schedule is almost over. I think the next month is going to be the last one, and that's going to be bringing a new wave of you know, optimism on the chart in terms of like there is no further dumping that can be anticipated. I think everybody at that point will be done exhausted. There was an article that I was reading which was actually saying that the sales which are remaining, actually these guys, they received ICP at $4.50. Basically that's right around where the price is right now. So these people also, they don't have any incentive to be selling because there is no profit made, right? So it is what it is, and I think that of course once the selling is done, the chart has got room to push towards the upside. One example of a chart which did that is JASMY. After the, you know, unlocks had been done, it just pushed, and even the last cycle that we just had, JASMY actually pumped 20x, right? Better than a lot of altcoins. And I think that ICP is going to be one that will surprise a lot of people. Let's see how the whole thing goes, but I'm hopeful that this was the bottom, and we're looking for, you know, strides towards the upside once again. So yeah, once again, we have to wait and be a little bit patient and see. Next up, we want to be talking about ACH, ALCHEMY Pay, which is one that I also just like. I mean, the concept behind it is good. Yep. So with ALCHEMY Pay, we have a multi-year resistance that we are seeing here, that you know, rejection once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and we are looking to approach it for the 5th time. Now there is a very simple rule in technical analysis: the more you hit on a support level or a resistance level for that matter, that actually is the more likely you're going to be able to break above this. And I would say that slowly but surely this resistance is going to get weaker and weaker. And what we need at this point, I think, is less than 100% pump, right? Let's see. Let me just catch that nice and easy one more time. From the very bottom until the top here, we just need about a 75% to get back to the resistance. Yeah, I mean, having been in crypto for a very long time, I don't think 76% is that much of a big percentage for an altcoin to do just to get back to its resistance. And just like what I'm saying here, the resistance is getting weaker. Once this is broken, man, it's gonna be a massive part here for ALCHEMY Pay. So I'm preparing massive trades because I'm looking for a 500% minimum pump in terms of the price. So if I can, you know, do my math really well here on a 15-10x leverage, yeah, I could actually be getting a lot, L60x maybe or something like that, right? So I'm not going to be disclosing much. This information is for Patreon members, but we'll see how we can weather the storm. I think we can navigate it in such a way that will always give us an advantage, right? So we're looking safe right there with Alchemy Pay. I'm waiting for that breakout. I think that's gonna be the most important thing here for Alchemy Pay in this year. But maybe this chart is not clearly expressing what I want to show here. And what I'll do is I'll show you the market cap of Alchemy Pay rather than the price chart, because yeah, the price chart has got a little bit of discrepancy to what happens with the market cap itself. You realize that the market cap also is in price discovery mode once we get to those areas that I'm talking about. So let's go to the weekly time frame, and I mean, are we on a log scale? Yes, exactly. So you see already that there is a difference. This is the market cap, and where is the this is the price set. Very different. Look, this is not in all-time highs, but at the moment Alchemy Pay here is also actually very close to its previous all-time highs, I mean back in 2021. So again, the issue is pretty much the same here. Once you are able to break above this resistance, you're getting into price discovery, and the thing with price discovery is that there is no limit, right? New optimism, I mean, the price just keeps pumping. So this is the pattern that we have right there, and this is exactly why I was saying that I'm anticipating a 500% pump, right? You can already see that the range itself is like 800% towards the upside. I don't know how many towards the downside, but slowly but surely we are squeezing this into an apex, and yeah, it's gonna break at some point. This is why I'm so excited about Alchemy Pay. Now on the flip side, if this doesn't happen, we also have to be prepared, right, to say, okay, are we going to be taking a trip towards the bottom right there? So either way, if it crushes 80% here, again, if you can time it nicely with a very nice trade, you can also catch this 80% towards the downside. I don't know how many multiples of leverage we would have to do to make sure that we get the maximum, but still, I think we have to prepare. There is an opportunity that's going to be presented either way with Alchemy Pay, in my humble opinion, and I think the plan A is to catch this break, which is going to be, in my humble opinion, a minimum of a 5x. I mean, the reason behind that also is that once again, if we refer to Fibonacci retracement tools from top to bottom here, we usually want to be targeting the golden ratio, and yeah, this would be right around, I don't know how many billions this is, or even a full extension. A full extension is one that gives us 500%, I want to believe. Let me just go ahead and redo that, because I was doing this before. 400 and something percent, yeah, 500% close to. So this is achievable, and I can't wait for this. It's just, that 75% push, I can miss it, no problem. But what I don't want to miss is the 500% here on Alchemy Pay. So I'm very much bullish on it, and I think it's going to be looking good. Another one that we want to take a look at is XRP and HBAR. So with XRP, you can see that we have got a range that is actually developed right there, support at the bottom right here, between, I would say, $2 and $2.90, and of course on top we have got a resistance between $3 and I would say $3.40. So what's happening is that we are very close to bottoms, and in ranges like this, I think the smart thing to do is to buy support and sell resistance, right? Now the good thing is that here there is enough percentages to make money here. The range itself is like 75%, 76%. So I'm already in a long position here on XRP for two reasons. this here is looking like a bottoming structure, just like what I was mentioning here with ICP Internet Computer Protocol. And secondly, it's also at the very lows of this range. So we bought earlier on here with XRP and still in profit right now. We're waiting even after Fed day to see what kind of a reaction we're going to be getting. If we push a little bit lower to $2.90, I mean $1.90, I would say, for XRP, that's also a buying opportunity for me, because I'm almost confident that this was the bottom here around $1.80 or something, $1.60 or something like that. So if you also take a step further, I mean a step behind, I should be saying, you also can treat this one as a bull flag, right? It's of course not fully developed, but this will be a very nice bull flag that can take the price, you know, a little bit higher like this. Let's see what kind of a price target we're getting here. This will be too crazy, about, you know, $20. I don't think it's very much possible for XRP. I think my highest price target here for XRP, I would actually pull it a little bit lower towards something like $18 maximum. $12 is the maximum that I would expect the price to do. But of course, the best way to look at these things is to refer to the biggest bull run that it has ever had, which is in 2018. And from there, grab your Fibonacci retracement tool from top to bottom here. And I would think that, yeah, you see the full Fibonacci extension is at $18.40. I think, yeah, this is the maximum that it can. I guess this is like the best case scenario for me. I know some people have got $50. I don't know where they get their price, I guess, from, but I still wish them the best. For me, first sell is around like $5.20, and this is some of the XRP that we were buying throughout, I mean 2020, 2021, you know, all those years. And I think I'm going to be offloading most of that at $5.20. Then of course the remaining $13, you know, $8, these are the other levels that I'm looking forward to here. But I think that immediate short term, just like what I showed you, there is a bottoming structure there. But of course, if you want to be looking at it in a different lens altogether, you can say this is a bull flag. Of course, I'm not really sure about the price target of $20. I don't know. I really can't believe it just yet. So we'll see what eventually happens by there. But let's move on to another one, which is XYN, ONYXCOIN. Today I'm actually very slow. Let's see how many minutes have we been into this stream. It's going slow today, but we'll get to the Q&A slowly but surely. So yeah, with ONYXCOIN, what we also see is what we just been talking about time and again, that this is somewhat of an accumulation, and this is going to be a range that takes some time. I think I still have got that mindset that this thing is going to take a minute, you know, just working itself in here, and then eventually start pushing up here, and it will just do that when nobody is expecting it to push, because that's exactly what it has done in the past. So today, what we are doing here is we are looking at the price, and it's sitting on a support. Really, I'm not going to be trading ONYXCOIN. It's so much difficult to trade. Sometimes you have the perfect setup, then it just wicks, takes you out, then does exactly what you would have anticipated before the wick. So it's very difficult to trade, and I won't trade it. I think it's just better, you know, holding it and stuff like that. But we have got that support here. I would say right around 1.6 cents, and this is what 1.7 cents. So this range is looking like your support, and just like I've been saying over the last few days, yeah, we can dip a little bit lower than that, but I think the overall idea is that we have had a crash in here, we have had a pump, then the next thing is to create somewhat of a new base here, higher than the lows, and then of course all of a sudden just do what you always do here, which is to push, I mean, out of nowhere. So that will be the thing that I'm anticipating here. And of course, a price target of about 7.7 cents is what I have at this point. I know it's conservative for a lot of people, but it is what it is for me. Next up, I think we want to be talking about HBAR. because it's also one that I've been bullish on for quite some time and also been opening long positions on it. Yeah, so HBAR, just like XRP, has got a very good bottoming structure there, and my confidence tells me that this was the bottom, and what we are looking forward to next is just a slow ride towards the upside. At times, big ass rise, but slowly but surely working out this range and not even stopping. I think HBAR is one that can go ahead and set a new all-time high, higher than what we had back in, I would say, January, right, 2025. Now, the reason why I'm also very much confident on this one is because if you take a look at the market cap of HBAR, right, let me just go ahead and show you that it also is different from the price chart, and it's still pretty much higher than its previous all-time high. So this is a chart that is very strong compared to where the rest of the market is. So once the market starts getting its footing, man, this is actually something that's going to be sending, because it's a leader at this point. So as you see here, this is the market cap, and you are way higher than where you were in 2021, right? So you have backtested this and you're looking to send even higher. So this is where I was saying that I'm expecting about a 500%. So far, what we have done is just about a 60%. So there's still more room to grow, in my humble opinion, for HBAR. And just like XRP, I'm also very much bullish on it. I think we've pretty much covered everything that we wanted to take a look at. ZEBEC we've covered, ALCHEMY Pay we have covered, Bitcoin we did cover, ICP we covered, XRP we covered, JASMY we covered, and yeah, I think there is nothing left, to be honest with you. So with that being said, I think we can get into the chat and see what you guys want us to cover, right? Slowly but surely, let's go ahead and do that. David Middleton says we should take a look at AVAX on a 4-hourly time frame. Let's go ahead and find out, shall we? Maybe we have got a pair that we can trade right there. So let's go ahead and check AVAX USDT. I hope there is something on it, but let's check it quickly. So yeah, this is AVAX, and I'll start on a daily time frame just to get a feel of where it is. I've taken a look at it before, and it's sitting on a support level. Let's scale it down a little bit to the 4-hourly time frame. Okay. Man. Just like ICP, I think it's just idling. It has already set its bottom for me. So even if it comes a little bit lower, maybe towards, I would say 7.5 cents. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be going below $15 in my humble opinion. So I would be expecting a situation in which this thing also, just like the rest of the market, maybe just a tiny tick towards the downside here, because we always have the uncertainty of how the Fed is going to be behaving. But then from there, I expect most of cryptos to work their way out of this whole thing. There is nothing that really specifically jumps out to me on the 4-hourly time frame, but it's a chart that I've taken a look at before, and it's indicating to me that it is sitting on its support level here. Somebody may be saying that the support level was already broken and this is no longer valid. No, I think it's one of those cases where market makers, and there's just a lot of fear at the very bottom of a chart that support and resistance levels don't become as perfect as they should be. But yeah, I would expect something like this. Actually, if you look at what I drew right here, this was also almost the same thing that it did when it was bottoming back in August 2024. So fingers crossed that we pretty much repeat the same thing right there. We have already taken a look at ZEBEC, so that was actually the second one that we looked at. If you wish, you can go probably towards the beginning. When I'm done with the live stream, I'm just gonna go ahead and timestamp everything so that people who come and try to watch the live stream will get to see what we talked about. But ZEBEC, we've already talked about it, and if you also go ahead and watch my latest video that I uploaded on YouTube, you can see very much clearly what my thoughts are on ZEBEC. But you know, spoiler, it's bullish, right? This is what I'm anticipating the price to do, and I'm also actually expecting the price to go and break that resistance right around 0.0015 and probably hit 0.002. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. I think I'll wait for XCN bought in just because the huge pumps. It should do another, hopefully it does another one, and it also comes back with a surprise like what it usually does, right? Somebody is actually asking for us to take a look at Supra. Let me just go ahead and read out the name and give a shout out to this guy, because we actually made a lot of money on Supra last week, so that was it was amazing. So who is up? Yeah, that's Richie Ignition. I hope you're rich, because you know, Richie. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at what was that? Supra, right? So Supra, the last time I checked about it, it was looking like it's just about to continue its expedition towards the upside. So let me show you real fast here. I was also talking to Patreon members last Friday, I guess, before it started pumping, saying that look, this thing actually can start sending, and it can do it in fashion to touch like around 1 cent. So I think we are still on that path, and we're coming off of the lows basically. We are going against trend, which is towards the downside, but I think the chart has done a good job also of forming once again a very common bottoming structure that we are seeing being printed right across the board. Probably what I'll do is, if I see that there is a lot of interest with Supra, I will probably dedicate a specific video to what I anticipated to do here. But yeah, I think that my expectation is that it continues to pump a little bit much more, and maybe touch, you know, the initial resistances right here towards 1 cent. So this is exactly what my thoughts are. Maybe, you know what I can do, I can go ahead and show you one trade that we took on. Yeah, this was actually one of our biggest hits from last week. So this is what we traded from our previous from our Discord group, and that was at 372%. so that was good. So we'll see. I think it can touch that 1 cent, but of course nothing is guaranteed in crypto. We'll see what eventually happens. So that's my case at this point, that it's going to try to recuperate some of these losses and touch a cent. So yeah, David Middleton says that he doesn't think we are out of the woods yet, and yeah, maybe I can share the same sentiment, in the sense that there is a lot of uncertainty with how the market is going to be reacting towards what the Fed says on Wednesday. So relative to what you are saying there, of saying, oh, look, you know what, we can still come back to touch $90,000. I've already talked about a situation like that. Probably you didn't see the video I made yesterday, or the live stream that we did, you know, the day before. So what we were actually talking about there was that, you know, if you get rejected from that 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, yeah, you have to touch this support once again. However, if the Fed comes and they say something that the market really likes, I don't think we have time for that. I think we have one more very huge move that will also leave a lot of people in the dust, because don't forget what has actually happened over the last few weeks. People have been totally shaken out. That move that we saw there was very brutal. I mean, take a look at the chart. How many people are here? 10 people at most. I mean, people have quit crypto. So a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines and probably expecting like way lower price targets as well. But you know, it's not something that is promised that we will get. You will keep getting a little bit of lower prices once again. I think the market, if it really wants to leave people on the sidelines, it just starts and continues pumping after that Fed meeting. So I guess we'll have a much more clearer answer by the time we get to Wednesday. However, of course, what you are saying of $8,000-9,000 is something that is also very possible if we have a crazy weekend, just like what we have been having ever since Trump was president. Because, I mean, these weekends have been very dramatic, right? So let's see what eventually happens right there. But of course, yes, we are not out of the woods yet. We have a huge event that is covering, you know, the whole market space, and things get cleared once that is over. And what we hear from Jerome Powell, if he comes out and starts saying tariff again, I mean, that's going to be the dumbest thing on planet Earth. But of course, I think at this point, the market is a little bit much more excited, especially with the Ukraine deal, with also things like the EU proposing a deal to the United States. And what we also saw was there was a rumor that the Fed was going to be cutting. So we'll see. Today we had earnings, and some of the companies, like, what was that? Oh, yeah, was it Nvidia? I forgot. There was a company which just went down -6% after trading. Let me just go ahead and take a look at the macro here. But I'm sure that there was a company after futures that closed, just dropped 6% out of the blue. You know what? I can't remember. I'm getting old. But anyways, let's go ahead and see what else is being talked about in the chat and see if there are more requests. If you have got a request, go ahead and do that, and probably we can bring this thing to an end. But I still want to hear if you've got anything that you want us to cover before we go. Morpho, David Middleton loves this Morpho thing. I don't know what it is, but let's go ahead and find out, shall we? So Morpho, the ticker symbol should be Morpho USCT, and probably will refer to the Maxi chart, because usually Maxi lists those things way before everybody else does. So let's see, Morpho USCT. I hope there is something good to see right there. Oh, wait, what happened here? I remember you asked about this in our last live stream, and we drew this trend line, yes. And what I see is that it has managed to backtest it and technically just go ahead and start really reaping towards the upside. Today alone, it's up 20%. Congratulations if you're in a long position or anything here. Yeah, I remember this one. Ooh, the RSI is also sending. The RSI is also sending. However, with coins like these ones, a lot of spots where you can get stopped, man. When I'm saying stopped, I'm talking about rejections, right? So that's number one. Why they're around $1.20 is where some resistance. No, I'm saying $1.20, $1.70 is where the price can stop. But once again, market makers don't make these things so much easy. They can totally, you know, decide to ignore this whole thing and then target here right around $2.40. So for me, if I would be holding these things, I would also be marking this level here right around $2.40, $2.42. But David Middleton, I think that we also have to pay attention to the first Fibonacci retracement level. That is around $1.60 here, closer to that $1.70 that we were talking about. So probably, I don't know, if I was in a trade, I would take a little bit of, you know, some chips off of the table right around that level, waiting to see how the price reacts to that and see if it can actually continue to push towards the upside once again. Now, actually, I was trading something like this a little bit earlier on, but the unfortunate part is that I didn't announce it in my trading group. So some people may actually see this and say, okay, why didn't he share this in the private Discord group? So I was trading Bubble Maps, the BMT token, and it has also reached its first Fibonacci retracement level. So let me just go ahead and show you that real fast, and maybe you can relate to this more for thing. USCT. I just want to explain the point of the Fibonacci retracement levels, right? So this is bubble maps. Wow, it's getting a rejection, massive rejection. Let's see what's happening right then. So okay, ooh, it's being rejected massively, which is good, honestly, because and it's doing it exactly where I was thinking the resistance would be. Anyways, let's go ahead and clear everything nice and easy. I'll withdraw things if I need to, but from the very top, please realize that, you know what, let's stabilize this thing. Okay, I think we're good. So now from the very top until the bottom here, you saw what happened, right? Let's go down just a little bit much more. So you react to your first Fibonacci retracement level here, you get a rejection, but once you just find a little bit of a support above that level, you even go for a high Fibonacci retracement level. So what I was saying, if you remember the numbers from that Morpho chart, there was an initial Fibonacci retracement level right around, I think it was okay, $1.60, and then there was a secondary Fibonacci retracement level around $2.40, I think. So I would think that my first initial take profit is that $1.60, not financial advice, of course. Oh, what is happening to bubble maps? I just opened the chart and the thing is tanking into oblivion. Wow, what's happening to crypto, man? This is, oh no, guys, 34% in an hour. Do you see this, guys? All right, we have got a party. Let's watch this. Okay, congratulations to crypto. A good thing I had taken profits here on the second Fibonacci retracement level. So let's see what happens here. But this is crazy, man. It's crazy. All right, thanks again, bro, for good analysis. Richie ignotes, sorry, Ouija. Oh my god, you know what, let me read this one more time. Richie Ignition, I hope you're rich, man. He says that, cheers, bro. Thanks, man. I mean, it's good to hang out with you guys. David Middleton, I don't know, do you agree with me on the Morpho chart? That's just like basic technical analysis that I could do on it, but I don't know, are you satisfied? Let's go ahead and see if there's anything. AVAX we already covered. Supra, we did already cover that. Then of course, if there is anything, ZEBEC, we've already done that. Other than that, I don't see any requests outside of those ones. But of course, if you're just joining the live stream, what we're doing right now is just a Q&A to try and see what you want us to take a look at, right? If you've got a specific chart that you want to be covered, go ahead and, you know, just show me. Let's talk about it. I really love this kind of Q&As because I remember the last time I did something like this was back in, was it in October? I don't really remember, but somebody kept suggesting XCN. And they kept saying XCN, 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 ONYXCOIN, ONYXCOIN. I eventually looked at it and eventually decided to buy some. It didn't take 2 months. 40x, I was just like, wow, who is that guy who said that? I couldn't find the guy. But yeah, there is much value in you guys showing me altcoins that probably I would have never looked at myself. For example, this Morpho thing, I don't know what it is. What is Morpho? But I can see some opportunities right there. If I was actually serious about it in the last live stream, David knows this. We looked at it and I said a few things about the trend line and stuff like that. Had I just looked at it one more time, maybe I could have seen that, you know, there was that chance of getting in on the back test. So I missed. But anyways, let's see if there are more requests right there. Let's see. Okay, we can take a look at Aerodrome Finance. Yeah, a lot of people are actually bullish on this, and man, this Morpho thing of yours, David, is sending into oblivion as we are speaking right now. bro. Well, congratulations, David, if you're holding this thing. Today you are up 20% just today alone. That's good. Over the last few days, you are up, what is this one right here? You are up 71%. I mean, kudos to you. Let's go ahead and take a look at Aerodrome Finance, and if any other person has got a request, we can go ahead and take a look at it as well. I used to hold Aerodrome Finance. I was big on the base chain. Probably I'm still big on the base chain, but the bear market actually came in at a very wrong time, I would say, right? So if this thing had actually continued just a little bit much more, yeah, the base chain would have been bigger, just like Solana. So this is a really good chart that you have here with Aerodrome Finance. I had done some bit of drawings by there. So the next thing that you want to be looking for with a chart like this one is to see where your Fibonacci retracement levels are, because it's so much clear that the bottom is in here. So what we're now looking forward to is take profit, right? Or if you're somebody who bought somewhere here, what you're looking for here is to cut your losses and exit plan, right? So from the very top here until the bottom, wow, look where we are getting to. The first ever Fibonacci retracement level. I think we don't need these ones anymore. For now, let's make sure that the Fibonacci retracement levels are clear. So what we are doing now with Aerodrome Finance is we are now approaching the first ever Fibonacci retracement level at 78 cents. Yeah, the chart has to do some kind of reaction to this. I don't usually see charts just cracking above, you know, like this. Even if they just pass it a little bit like this, they may still decide to just come back a little bit more before they continue heading to the higher in the next Fibonacci retracement level, which in this case I'll be anticipating to be $1.34. So from 78 cents to, you know, $1.34 is something that I see very much possible. But I usually expect for some reaction, for some kind of reaction to happen right around the 78 mark, as it's the first Fibonacci retracement level. They always do like that. This is just from my own experience, right? I just showed you with the Bubble Maps token. So yeah, let's see what else we have got. Yeah, I think ticker is already Aerodrome Finance. We did that one already. So I guess maybe we can go ahead and call it a day. There isn't much requests anymore left in the chat. So I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button just as a custom. But other than that, yep, thank you so much. See you on the next one. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.